Still gonna send it. Hey, and welcome to the Collab Collective. Thank you to everyone that's checked out episode 1 and gotten back in touch. Got some great feedback with that one. And for those of you who are checking this out for the first time, you can find us at the Collab Cole, at the Collab Cole, Cole being with 2 L's. And with me today is good friend William Freeman, who's a singer-songwriter, and we're going to be talking quite a lot today about just like his early career, moving on to it, Glasgow, and his latest EP and what's coming next. So, hey man, how's it going? You good?
I'm good, yes. It's good to see you, man. I've been a bit out of touch, I apologise.
It's all good, man. We're here today to get chatting over some beers, and it's going to be good. We're going to have a good time. So, I suppose let's get straight into it, man. You know, we're going to go way back to 2011.
I don't know how old I was then. But yeah.
So like I basically rated your Facebook profiles at William Freeman Music.
Yep, that's it, yeah.
Same again with your Instagram as well, if you're trying to find anyone.
Yeah.
There as well.
I think they're all William Freeman Music.
So you started off early on Soundcloud, which unfortunately none of them have made it this far. I think you deleted them quite a while back, right?
Yeah, I put quite a lot of stuff out there thinking, oh, this sounds great back in the day, and like totally stoked when I was able to record my own music and put it out there, you know? And then as you kind of progress and as I learned more about the whole kind of what sounds good, what doesn't, I got to a point where I was like, nope, and just like shooting songs down. So kind of, I think one of the important things being an artist is like for pages like SoundCloud to reflect, you know, your best quality music, not just like shabby recordings. So, but they're somewhere. So maybe one day go back and get better recordings.
Yeah, man. I know exactly how you feel. I'm looking back on some of the stuff that I'd done, like even just 3 years ago. I'm just shaking my head. I'm just like, as a musician, it's just that constant just evolution. Looking back and thinking, oh crap, why did I let that kind of slide rather than just taking the time to like.
Yeah, definitely. Like I can remember when I first started recording, it was literally like a guitar cable. It was also like a USB to guitar cable, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. But yeah, it's benefit of hindsight. You know, at the time it sounded good, and it's like, oh, you know, I got my stuff online. This is great. And now I'm like, well, even 2 years ago after I did the whole thing at uni, like music and that, I'm like, yeah, that's awful. Like,
sorry, the USB to guitar cable, was that Rocksmith the game, and you're just like taking that and just popping it into your laptop?
Yeah.
Love it.
Definitely, man. Yeah,
love that game too.
I know. Yeah, I was even using it a few years ago. I'm not really sure why. It's just for a laugh, but yeah.
Nice one, man. I mean, that's the thing. You know, you started in 2011. You have been playing music a lot earlier than that. You know, even in high school, I remember you being in part of bands, but the solo stuff, that's more just like from there. And like I was even, there is a couple of videos on his Facebook if you go back of like his early days, but you know, there's more modern stuff is great. So like, you know, there's like, you know, Circles Never End in the Isle, which was done in Inverness.
Yeah.
And I was watching like the Isle and just start seeing like it was just pouring down with rain halfway through the video.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, for fuck's sake.
It was totally like that, man. And there's I can't remember what song it is. I think it's Circles Never End. And it's like a 6-minute song. Like, I think I managed to nail it on the second time, but I was looking up, and because I'm like really socially awkward, I could see these kids just like staring at me, and it was fucking freaking me out, man. I look up and I smile, and that's what it was, just some random kids just staring at me, and like even then I was just like, oh, fucking freaking out, man. But I was like, I need to nail this, man. So, but yeah, no, that was great. I think it was, I can't remember the name of the company that did it, but yeah, no, I've always, stuff with live sessions is I always, at the time, was when, it still is, but like, you know, like Watch, Listen, Tell, stuff like Mahogany sessions, I was like mad into that, and I was like, it'd be so cool, especially with my music, you know, to suit, you know, that kind of live session stuff. So I was really, yeah, I think those videos are actually pretty good, like, to be honest, if I, not to big myself up, but I was pretty proud of them at the time, man. I was like, you know what I mean? So I thought they were pretty good.
Yeah, man, I was listening to them and I was like, you know, 2012, you know, young, you know, you've grown a lot since then as well, but even from like your early videos, you know, like it's just kind of seeing the development in that as well, but they still hold their worth, and you can see a lot of your early influences now relating back into your new EP as well. Another one that I kind of seen as well is the Blackboard sessions that you done in Glasgow, and now that was when you moved over there, right?
Yeah, it I can't remember what year I did that. but it was...
I think it was 2013, right?
Was it? Honestly,
Yeah.
I can't remember,
It's
mate.
all good.
I can't remember when I lived in Glasgow, man. But, yeah, no, it was my girlfriend at the time. She was doing it as a uni project, because she was pretty into Watch, Listen, Tell and all that stuff as well. And it was kind of... she did, like, music business and that, and it was just one of these projects. And our good friend, a girl called Katie, she's, like, really good at, like, videography and stuff like that, and she helped out. So it was all... kind of cool, man. I think that was in Glasgow Green, was it? Yeah, I think it was. Yeah,
Yeah, I
Glasgow
think so,
Green
right,
we
yeah.
went, man. So, but I didn't play so well on that one. But it was again, it was a cool thing to do, you know. And yeah, as I say, I've just always loved live sessions, just like stripped bare to the bone, man. It's just always been a love of mine. So yeah, it's good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and you were in Glasgow studying at Riverside Music College, which I was just telling you about as well. I'm planning on maybe going in September.
Yeah, so when you said, I was like, yeah, no, I do know that. I went there. It was really good. I was there for 2 years, and it's changed a lot now. But in general, it was. I was gonna do music because I hadn't really done much recording stuff. You know, it was like all like stuff like Audacity and stuff like that. That program, like pretty basic. But I thought, you know, I'm quite happy with like how well I can play music. I'm not great at music and that, but I thought it's maybe more beneficial to do something like that. So yeah, I was there for 2 years. I met some like really cool people. And it was quite a small group of us, and I still speak to all like a good 4 or 5 of the guys today. So I'm still really close with them, and they're still doing all their music stuff. And I meet up with them when I'm down, and some people have gone off to do other things in other countries. But we always kind of have that friendship and bond over music we had. And then I moved on to UWS in Paisley for about a year and a half. I kind of got to my final year and I kind of flunked out because I went for a bit of a patch where I had a mad anxiety and I just kind of gave up. But I still did well. Like, considering I kind of went into it not knowing much, I came out with, you know, a decent degree, and you know, I was pretty proud of myself. So no, it was a good time. Like, it's like fond memories of college and uni. So I definitely recommend it. You know, you meet some great people and that, and it's always good to bounce so many. Like, I've done projects with quite a few of them, and still do these days. So.
Nice one, man. I mean, that's the thing. When I was doing my my research, going back, I mean, obviously, you know, we hang out, we're mates and that, but like obviously, like, I don't know much about like your early development. I know that you went to Glasgow and all that as well, but when I was looking back, I noticed that, you know, getting your first gigs in Glasgow and seeing that, you know, you were playing shows with Declan Welsh. But this was probably when he was like just himself before he was part of the Decadent West.
Yeah.
What, the Decadent West? All right, Sean Connery. The Decadent West, who do songs like, you know, like Lull and like Pass It On. If you guys haven't checked them out, worth a check out. Very kind of Scottish political. Was he always that way as well, was it? Or?
I honestly can't remember. Like, as I say, I played that many of these gigs and like sessions that I probably played. There's a few people I played with that are doing really well for themselves these days, but in general, the ones I usually did in Glasgow were a guy I met. I'm not really sure how I met him, but a guy called Mick, and he runs sessions at like Tuts, and he did ones at Jay's Bar, and he's such a sound guy, and he's like such a hard worker, and he always putting on these gigs, and you get to meet all these really cool people and these amazing musicians. And like, even when I'm down in Glasgow now, like, I'll give him a shout and say, oh, can you put me on the bill? And he'll be like, yeah, cool, man, it'd be good to see you and stuff like that. So there's just so much on in Glasgow, you know, all the time. That was a great thing. You could pop out on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night, and there's always something. So yeah, it was good, man. I do miss the Glasgow music scene quite a bit. So
yeah, man. I mean, I was seeing as well, you know, back when you launched your EP, this is back in October, you were down in Glasgow for a tour that we'll talk about later. But you know, you done your event for Guitar, which is one of the biggest UK retail stores.
Yeah, I remember going in, and that's funnily enough one of my mates from the Riverside days and uni as well. My mate Robbie, and he works in guitar just now, and he's still doing recording. I can't actually remember. He does a lot of recording for other people as well. I can't remember the name of like the company he's under just now, but Robbie Tranter, yeah, if you go on Facebook, he does a lot of kind of record and stuff like that. It's definitely worth checking out. But yeah, he works in guitar, and he said, "Oh, Will, we're starting this new thing, like new essentially sessions in store to promote their guitars and stuff. And do you want to come down? Because I think it'd be perfect." And I was like, "Yeah, definitely." So just went down, and I sat in that new like Martin room with all these guitars, and he's like, "Right, you get to pick one of the Martins," like. And I was just like shaking, like, and obviously not one of like 10 grand ones, but the one I played was like so sweet, man. And
was that a Dreadnought? Was it?
Yeah. And
beautiful.
Yeah, no, it was amazing. I just went down the train, had a few beers, played that. Yeah, it was great, and it's like great company as well, and so many like beautiful guitars. And I was like kind of sitting there like, oh, I wish I could afford one of those, but I ended up actually going back and buying
a beautiful Taylor.
Yeah, it wasn't even a Martin.
It's like,
day, man.
Fuck your Martin.
yeah, exactly, man. But
I mean, Taylors are also fantastic guitars too. And when you played one of your shows, was it? It wasn't December. Did you play a Juicy show this year? Or was it like an end of?
Oh, honestly,
it's when you first got the Taylor, and just like hearing like the sound difference from what you were playing previously, which was, I think it was an Ibanez guitar.
Yeah, it's more like a jazzy kind of guitar.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, it was more kind of electric-y, but yeah, just like pure. I love this guitar like so much. It's yeah, as you say, a lot purer, more acoustic sound that I think actually suits my kind of vibe better. So yeah, I'm happy with that. But I actually can't remember when I played that Truthy gig, man. But I remember the first day I bought it, I played a gig at Tuts for one of these Sunday sessions, and I remember going up and the guy plugged it into like kind of like EQ it and that, and he's like, "Nah, fuck that, man." And he just like, "That sounds sweet as fuck." And I was like, "Yeah."
Just left it as is.
Yeah,
Man. Yeah.
just like
it's such a beautiful sounding guitar.
Yeah. So,
but I remember like that gig, like just chatting to Woody, and like I think that you playing with that guitar, it really kind of triggered almost like a confidence boost in you. Like, 'cause I was like hearing like obviously I came to a few of your shows now, and listening to previous shows compared to like now with the Taylor, it feels like you're a lot more kind of comfortable playing your songs now because the guitar is almost like more of your identity, if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, no, I definitely know what you mean. I had problems with the Ibanez. I don't know, I wasn't completely happy with the sound. Like, it's a beautiful guitar and that, it's really nice. And I think the reason I actually bought the Ibanez was because I was like mad into Tom Misch at the time, and he had the Ibanez, and I was like, I really want to learn jazz guitar. I never did. Like, I still want to, but I was like, I'm definitely buying this guitar. And then I played it, and I did love it. Like, it's a beautiful guitar, but as I say, it just didn't suit my sound or identity. But that's not to say in the future it might not. So yeah, I'm gonna hold on to it for a bit longer and see it might make an appearance again one day.
How good is Tom Misch though?
Oh no, honestly, right?
Don't even get started on Tom Misch. This is the whole podcast over now.
Yeah, honestly, man.
It's gonna be like 40 minutes more of Tom Misch. It's like, like the journey. I remember my friend Josh, who was on episode 1. He showed me like the journey, and I was just like, it's the solo, just that like slowly kind of creeping into this super like jazz style.
Yeah,
solo.
He's so sick, man. Like, just
super talented.
It's good because I love like hip hop stuff as well, and like the fact that he like loves J Dilla and all his hip hop, and he's got
J Dilla.
you should follow his. He's got a Spotify playlist called Real Good Shit. Oh, honestly, that's so good, like, so. But yeah, no, he's amazing. There's just a lot of stuff like that, and stuff he plays with as well, like the group he plays with. Not the group, but like people like Lowell Carner and Carmody and Jordan Raka and stuff like that. They're all just like so talented. And I'm like, shit, man, I fucking wish I could play the guitar like that.
Man, how good's Lowell Carner's new record, right?
Yeah, honestly, when that came out, and like I show my girlfriend now. She's not mad into hip hop and stuff, but like the first track is like Dear Ben. It's like, oh no, I think it's Dear Jean. Yeah, so it's like Benjamin, whatever his name is, like a song to his mum. And I think it's about moving out of the house and stuff. And the last track is called Dear Ben. So it's like the one that's like a poem.
Yeah.
From his mum to him about like him moving out and finding like the golden snitch and this new girlfriend, obviously. And she was like, holy shit. She was like, yeah, like borderline emotional. I was like, this is what I was like, delivering my post, man, listening to this record for the first time, just like, everyone's like, you're right. I was like, yeah, just really like delivering post, But yeah, no, it's a sick album, man. Yeah, it's really, really good. So.
Yeah, especially like Sail Away freestyle as well. That's, man, the whole album's great. It's another one. It's like, if you're wanting like a nice gateway, it's very much chill hop, I suppose. It's,
yeah, definitely.
It's not like, very intense, and it's just something you can just like put on in the background and just vibe away to.
That's the one, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm going to take us back again. We're going to go back still to 2013. You know, obviously Glasgow. I think it was around about Christmas time, 2013. You're maybe back up for around about Christmas time, and the band The Roove, which is, you know, quite a local
Yeah.
big band. You know, back then called Peruvia, rebranded, and they're doing cool shit. Did they come to you to ask to play like local shows? 'Cause I think at the time they were what, maybe 17, 18 at the time.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was still when Chris Brash was playing drums for them and Elliot was on bass, like the kind of original lineup as such. And obviously I was good mates with Chris's brother Alex, like, you know, we did music together and that. But like, I was still pals with Frankie and that as well, you know, and yeah, they knew I did quite a bit and, you know, I was kind of willing. So we kind of just went from there. But yeah, no, they're great guys, like, and as you say, some the stuff they're doing just now is like so good. Like they've always done good stuff, like great stuff, but the identity they found now with like the kind of yeah.
It's taken a long time, but like at the same time they're finding it now. They're going with it. So like what Nevada, You Want to Be Like Me, just like stuff like that, and they've actually gotten quite a lot of streams from them. You know, which is great. You know, to have that kind of local support, and they're now branching on with management now as well. And
yeah. They deserve it, man. They're hard workers, you know what I mean? And hard work is getting recognised. And, like, you know, I wish them all the best. It's great to see a local band, you know, like, smashing it. And those guys are definitely kind of smashing it. So, yeah, no, I definitely wish them kind of all the best, man, because they're doing great things. Like, and getting more things, you know, going on in the area as well, you know, as well.
I mean, one of them more recently was the Top Loader gig, which is back in April, which my main man William was supporting on as well.
Yeah, that was.
And for those that don't know, Top Loader was the guys that done Dancing on the Moonlight. You know, that's their claim to fame.
That's it.
Well, they've got other great songs. So just but like for those that don't know the catalog, Dancing on the Moonlight, Dancing on the Moonlight. So I think the same management company that owns them, that works with them, works with The Roove, isn't it? So
I believe, yeah.
was it Frankie that approached you, or was it Lewis, or?
It was, I think it was Frankie I was speaking to, and he was like, we've got this gig we're doing in April, was it, as you just said? I've literally just forgotten it. Yeah, anyway. And
it all merges into
just a year. And they were like, oh, do you want to be like part of it? They didn't say who was supporting it. I just said, do you want to be part of it? Like, I just thought we'd be supporting them. And I was like, yeah, no, totally, you know, I'm always up for stuff. And I found out it was Top Load, and I was like, oh, that's really cool, man. You know, my mum loved Top Load. That's the first thing I said, yeah. And,
I remember, sorry.
Yeah, no, and she was actually away for the gig. She was pretty gutted. But no, it was a great night, man. It was kind of weird when I played. It was like kind of early on in the evening and that, but just to be like part of an event like that, and it was just a good night for so many reasons. Like just there with my mates, and it's the first time like my girlfriend had seen me like live, and cool stuff like that. And my brother was over from Ireland. It was just like a good vibe, man. You know what I mean? It's probably good I was on earlier on the night because I was kind of getting to that stage where I was pretty half cut by the time it went on. And I was like, yeah, I just want this not to be over. I really enjoyed it. I thought I played really well, but you know, in general, it was such a good night.
Yeah, I mean, like I seen the photos as well, and I remember like when you first found out. I think it was like 11:30 at night. I'd work at like 5:45. I had to get up for work at 5:45 in the morning, and you're like, you phoned me out. I was like, Cameron. I was like, what's up, William? You're not gonna believe it. It's like, you know, Top Loader, and like it took me a second to kind of register. And you're like, well, your boy supported them. I'm still gonna send it. You know?
I was definitely half cut, but
man,
no,
great.
It's still, man. Yeah. It was exciting. It's cool, man. It's cool to do stuff. And like again, the other bands like Gordon James, they're great.
Gordon
man.
James are good dudes as well.
And was it Edgar Road as well? I got them mixed up, Edgar Road and Chris Road. I felt really bad, but yeah, no, just like so many. It was a good showcase.
Yeah.
Of the talent, but the thing is, like, you could have had a bill of a good, like, 10, 15 bands in the area that, you know, are all doing so well, and that's, makes me happy. I'm sure it'll make you happy too, just to see the fact that the music scene is kind of, I wouldn't say thriving again, but it's definitely, the music being produced in the area is thriving. I mean, we still need to push more, like gigs and stuff like that. But even like say the dance events, you know, going on Elgin, like I'm, you know, not mad into that, but just to see the guys that are organising that get like some really good dance acts up and stuff like that, you know, it's good to get the buzz back about the place. You know what I mean, man? Because it kind of went for a few years, and you know, it's getting there again. So
See, I think with the whole music club thing, there's a guy, Mark Thompson, is it Sadra Sounds? I might be misphrasing that, but that's Fian, who I recorded recently. That's his uncle.
okay,
Yeah, I think he's been doing quite a lot of stuff to do with that as well. And
yeah,
it's good. You know, it's again not really my scene, but like it's we've got a guy Jacob that's coming on soon, and we'll be talking a lot about like, you know, the Inverness rock scene if you're into that, or like maybe not so much the indie scene because he's more like, you know, pop punk hardcore music. But then you're noticing as well, like in this area, rock and metal's making like an underground re-happening. You know, like
yeah.
I think Forest Fest just happened recently as well, and
Yeah.
there's another event coming on in Inverness, which it's slipping my mind, but I'll definitely maybe post something about it later on. But it's cool to see that. I mean, because for the past couple of years, I think it has taken a downwards spiral, but it's now beginning to rebuild itself.
Yeah.
And I think it's important for people to kind of realize it's, you know, people think there's not much opportunities here, but Tom Walker, the guy that had Leave a Light On and You and I, and the guy that's basically became multi-platinum, Sony Records and all that stuff. Well, he played Elkin 2.5 years ago. He played the Druthi, you know. But yeah, like I was just like chatting to him after a show. And at the time, it was just like him with a MacBook and a guitar, and dude was sending it, you know. Dude was sending it. Yeah, always sending it. But there's another band as well. Have you heard of The Howl and the Hum?
You showed me them, man. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Really good band. Very sad disco, but like, nah, it's cool. When they were playing, I think, what's the gig that Fender do in Brighton once a year? Is it The Great Escape?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it is.
I think they played that last year, and they played their song Portrait Portrait 1, and like that got like 1 million views, just like from them playing. Nah, cool dudes. But they swing by as well, and I think from a local aspect, I think people do think it's like, oh, you know, I'm never gonna get to that point, but like at the same time, big bands or bands that are maybe not so big today but massive tomorrow, do swing by town. I think like back in like the late 90s, early 2000s, Texas, like a week before she became multi-platinum, was playing a place in like Elgin.
Yeah.
You know, like just like a bar / like lounge area.
Mm-hmm.
So it just goes to show as well, you know, it's like you never know when you're going to explode, and I think it's cool just to do local shows. And
yeah, it's the thing, man. Yeah, like, and just for people to go out there and support it. I mean, I'm guilty of like not going to as much kind of live music as I should because I've got this and that on, but like, you know, I guess it is important for people to keep going to the shows because, you know, artists will obviously speak and, you know, be like, oh, I'll go at Elgin, you know, there's a good crowd, there's a decent turnout, stuff like that. And, you know, especially, you know, that's good for lots of acts that are coming up from not from here, but especially like local acts. It's good to like nurture and kind of have that local support, you know, as I say, like going back to the Roof and that, they've got like a great support back here that, you know, followed them, you know, to wherever they go, like, and that's like such a good thing to have, you know.
I mean, that's the thing as well, and I think that's why they've probably got quite a lot of their King Tut's gigs and Edinburgh gigs. You know, I'm not saying that's the only reason, but like they have got that following that'll basically follow them to these places where they can guarantee ticket sales of X amount, so venues are going to take them on, and even if like only 5 people from Glasgow show up, that's still potentially 5 more fans that'll show up the next time.
Exactly.
But the fact is, they're paying for buses and they're doing all these things to try and, you know, maintain their fan base, which is super important. I think people tend to forget about that. You know, at the same time, your music is forefront, and you should be kind of doing your music that you're happy writing about, and, you know, focusing on that. But I think at the same time, keeping your fans happy to a certain degree, obviously not compromising your whole artist integrity, but also kind of not just sticking a middle finger up to your fans all the time if they don't expect that. If you're one of these characters that did it from the get-go and like your fans love you for that, then cool. But if you're one of these bands that, you know, you write music and your fans like you for this one reason, and then you go elsewhere, it's more difficult to do that as well. I know it's kind of difficult. I think at the end of the day as well, it's important to kind of realize what situation your band's in as well. And I think a band like The Roof as well, they've re-identified a couple of times. I mean, even 2017, when they done, was it 2017 or 2018, where they launched Alive? It was the first of their singles before they done You Wouldn't Be Like Me. And Alive was a pretty good song. Not personally my favorite, but then they came out later on in the year with You Want to Be Like Me, and that, like, in the local scene took off, and like you had people in local events playing that, and like, you know, radio interest as well. And I think from there, like, they were like, right, cool, this is something that we enjoy playing. You know, I think Lewis and Frankie have always been like a fan of like the Bee Gees in the 1975 and all that stuff as well. So like to be able to kind of do something that they like, that the people locally like as well, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's great, man. It's great.
But enough about the Roove. We're going to talk about your EP, and your EP came out last October, was it? Well, no, you started the journey last October, I think. I was going back over, and it was The Way You Once Loved Me.
Yeah.
So like this is where like the Sad Boy EP comes in, but we're gonna save it. We're gonna get real positive after this. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, no, it was, when did I release it? It was last October or November.
I think it came out in like November, but like I think you started the process.
The process,
So
yeah.
September, October 2018?
Probably end of August, start of September, I'd say, judging by other
The events, yeah.
events.
Do you want to maybe go into that, or because if it's an uncomfortable subject, we can always bypass that and go into something more comfortable.
I don't mind, man. Yeah, I think it's just one of those ones that you know, this whole kind of this like breakup EP. That's what I kept saying. You know, I did a lot of press stuff and like interviews about it and that, and yeah, you know, it's quite simply a breakup EP, and you know, I kind of didn't really see it coming and that, and you know, it'd been after like good 7.5, 8 years and that, and then I was like, oh, and then I kind of wallowed in my self-pity for a while, kind of drank too much.
Who doesn't, you know?
Yeah, man.
I'm sorry, I know.
No, totally, yeah, but this was like getting to the stage where I was like fucking disappearing, man, and like my family, like pals were like, fucking hell, well, get a grip. Yeah. Not get a grip, but like they're like worried, and I got to a certain point, I was like, what the fuck am I doing, man? And,
yeah.
And that was okay, you know, you can wallow for a while, man, you can feel like shit, listen to the fucking same depressing songs, but I was like, nah, fuck it, you know what I mean? Being the musician in me, I was like, obviously living by myself in the house with my dog, and I just started writing, you know, because you just do, that's what you do, you know, you just start writing, and I'd be getting home from work when I actually went into work and just picking my guitar up or sitting down at the piano and just like, it just came pretty naturally, you know what I mean, like all these feelings, and you know, I made that EP out of it, and it was a lot of stuff. It's quite similar to a lot of stuff I was listening to at the time, so like Ben Howard, John Hopkins, all these like emotive like stuff, and you can hear it quite a, like the song you said, you know, the acoustic guitar with like kind of drenched in like delay and stuff like that. That's kind of Ben Howard-esque, and how you once I can't remember the name of it in the song, but The Way You Once Loved Me, like just the piano and stuff like that was kind of like, and I can't remember the other songs on it. That sounds terrible.
I mean, like, I think at the end of that you had Eternal Sunshine, which is, I suppose, that kind of glimmer of kind of happiness, of like, you know, hope at the end of it, you know, because like I think that was that the last song that you done on the EP, was it, or was that like one of the earlier songs?
It was one of the last ones. It was kind of a story, I guess, in its own. Eternal Sunshine, yeah, it's my mate Adam that I went to Riverside with, funnily enough, that I was speaking to a lot, and he's like, oh Will, go watch Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Have you seen it?
I haven't. No.
Oh, you should go and see it, man. Not go see it, but like watch it, man. But anyway, yeah, it's like this film, and it's kind of about this whole kind of breakup and all this stuff, and wanting to forget and all that. And it was kind of the last song I did, and it was a point. I got to a point where I was like not over it, but I was like getting to a point where I was accepting it. I always accepted it, but yeah, no, I was proud of it, man. You know, I made something of it. You know, I could, you know, there's one or two things you can do. You know, you could just be there and be a sack of shite for like fucking forever, or you can just fucking get on with it and make something positive out of it. And you know, I did a bit of one for a decent, you know, while, but then, you know, I did, you know, the other one as well. So yeah, it's great, man. It was a free form of therapy as such. You know, you got all these feelings like pent up inside, and as I said at the time, you know, if people can relate to it, then that's cool. But yeah, it was one of those things, man. You know, it happens. Felt like it needed to be written um, at the time. As I say, it was more just, if anything, just to help me as such. And I wasn't going to release it for ages. I was like, I'm not really sure if these songs are too personal or too, you know, emotive. But I thought, no, you know, as I say, if it helped anyone, you know, that has ever been in the same situation, then that, you know, means a lot to me. So yeah, it was good, man. And Jim Gallagher played the way he wants to love me on Amazing Radio, which is cool, man, and gave some nice.
See, I think what you were saying as well earlier with you know, you weren't sure about releasing it because it's very personal, but you did anyway. It does show a lot of kind of resilience in that as well, and I think also maybe elements of closure as well. You know, it's like you spent that much time working on it, and for me, I think this is when I first started to regain interest back into what it was, you know, you were kind of doing. I think knowing the local kind of scene, I did see you do like the odd gig here and there. I didn't really know much about Glasgow prior to,
Yeah.
but like obviously, you know, being your friend on Facebook and that as well, and started to see all these updates. Like you had the video that you did on the beach of the way you once loved me, and like which is just like, you know, you just a cappella on a beach.
Yeah.
And you can almost like hear like that point of like how you were to see you now. You know, like it's amazing. Like you have came a long way since then, obviously, and you're now in a much more happier place. I kind of feel like you can kind of.
It's crazy, man. Yeah, like I just laugh at myself now. Like it.
But I think like it's important to, as a human, to kind of go through these ups and downs.
Yeah, no,
you know?
totally, man. Yeah, it's life, you know. Shit happens, and then, but looking back now, you know, where I'm at now, what's happened, like, and the music as well. You know, I met someone new through my music. I got down to a point was like, what the fuck am I doing in my life? You know, I wasn't happy with my job, so I quit my job. I wanted to move away from Ireland, escape, run away. And then I was playing a gig with a Roove in Forest, you know, one night, and this is when I had like my period of like kind of a few weeks between jobs, and you know, I was playing that gig, and I met my girlfriend now, and you know, I thought that was like the best way, you know, like I was like I always wanted to meet someone, you know, kind of that way, and you know, now I'm just like just fucking happy I've ever been, to be honest, man. To be quite honest, you know, that's not even me just saying that, you know, it's and that was all down to me making decisions in my life that I maybe should have made a long time ago. And you look back and you think, yeah, it's all, you know, I don't know if I still believe in fate, man, but, you know, I mean, everything that's happened is just, you know, everything happens for a reason, all that shit. But, you know, where I'm at in my life just now, I wouldn't, you know, change a thing, man. So it's good.
Yeah. I mean, it's the glass, you know, like through the ashes the phoenix grows, you know. But I mean, that's the thing, you know, like, so you worked so hard on the CP. You know, you see these updates of, you know, you bought a piano at the time, didn't you? Like an out-of-tune piano. Like
yeah.
Or like, so I was like, bought a piano because why not? And like, I think you're playing it. Is that in Woody's little depot bit, or was it? Or
it was. So I was doing a lot, like my video on the beach and all that. I was working with a local kind of photographer called Nathan Mansfield, and you can find his stuff on Facebook. I'll plug him. It's Nate Portraits, and I can't remember the other one he does, but yeah, no, he's such a great guy. Like I've knew him before. Like kind of used to take pictures of like the band I used to play back in the day, but we were meeting up a lot, chatting a lot, bouncing ideas off each other, and just one day we were speaking. And we're like, "Oh, there's a piano for sale," and we're like, yeah, fuck it, man, let's just buy it. And it was fireworks night, and we pushed it from like the football club in Lossy down to this warehouse near the galley. And it's like him and his mates owned it, I think, and I had like a skate park and that had his little studio in it, and we're just like,
oh, nice.
Yeah, no, it's sick, man. And we did a lot of stuff together, and just bounced ideas, and he helped me a lot of his stuff, and he's such a sick photographer, and he's definitely worth checking out. But yeah, no, that piano, man, I can't even play piano. It's funny, like my MIDI keyboard at home, I've got all my songs written on them in different coloured marker pens, so I remember them.
I mean, it's the bonus with MIDI now as well. Like I remember, because I caught one of your gigs. This is, I think, the end of November, and I think I remember asking you like, "Oh, you playing tonight?" I was like, "Yeah, cool, I'll be there." or no, I didn't even say that. I was like, I'm going to go to William's gig because like I want to work together with you at this point.
Yeah.
And I think at the time I was working on Fian McCarran's track Goodbye,
Mm-hmm.
and I was in the midst of like editing, and I totally lost track of time. And I think the gigs at the Druzy normally start at like, I think it's 9 o'clock normally.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
so like
yeah.
it got to like 8 o'clock, and I was like, oh shit. I checked the time, and it was like gig started at 7. I'm like, oh, double fuck, So like I like save the computer, like I'm like speeding to get to this gig, and I think you weren't on yet. There was a guy on before you, or maybe like
What gig was that again? I'm trying to remember, man.
November, and it wasn't the one you done with. Is it M Miller? It wasn't that one. It was the one before that.
Michael Cassidy?
Maybe Michael Cassidy. Yeah.
He's sick, man. He's definitely worth checking out as well. Yeah, it was. No, it was me, Michael, and I can't remember the guy's name, but he's from Garmouth and he's sick.
Yeah.
I think it was that one, man. Yeah, it would have been. Yeah.
But like I think I got down, and when I got there, like I just went there alcohol-free beer because I was driving, and ended up bumping into Kaylee, which is Jamie Simmons, which is one of your best pals.
Yeah.
His sister, and she was like, "Cameron, how you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm doing good." It's like, "You drinking?" Because like like classic Simmons apparently, like.
I think we were working the next day, but because
Yeah,
we
you
used to
were.
work together, and I can't remember if I was working the next day.
But then turned out it was like just like Kaylee tried to convince me to drink. I'm like, I can't. Like, I've literally got to go back and do some more edits for
Yeah,
Fian.
she was supposed to be telling me to take it easy. I think it was us two in work the next day, and what a shit show that was, man. Yeah, it was a good note. Like as I say,
Yeah.
I got people that come down, like my brother, his mates. They're big fans and always supporting me. But yeah, that was a great night, man. It's just like the thing. The Druzy does lots of good gigs, and as I say, I played there a few times now, and I like playing like the town hall gigs, the top loader gigs, and your pub gigs, but they're just like not me, but like
I think you lack the intimacy with it as well, and
yeah, there's just people like speaking and shit, which I don't mind. You know what I mean? I didn't.
it's like fair enough if you're like like full band rock or like funk or whatever. But I think with like singer-songwriter especially, it's like you need that intimacy because the songs are very much personal songs,
Yeah.
for the most part, and yeah, I mean, I remember because obviously like since kind of doing the album as well, I came to a few of your shows, and seeing your confidence kind of progress. And I think it was one of the gigs. It may have been the M Miller gig. May have been like one after that. Was that the last Druzy gig you done? Was the M Miller gig? Or have you played? Or no? I think do you not play a gig in February?
Oh, Callum.
Callum. I'm
Callum.
terrible.
Good
Sorry,
old Callum.
Callum. We will find your last name out later.
Yeah, he was really good as well. Nice guy, great guy.
But like I remember like that gig. I mean, even from November, like in November, there was, I think just like even just singing the songs for the first few times was just a milestone, and just to get comfortable with what you were singing did take time. And I remember like by I think it's either February or March you were doing this gig, and I was in the back, and you were doing great so far. And I think you got to like a bit of like I think you were tuning your guitar and you were kind of like going down a bit, and I was like, "You're still gonna send it." So like me and William have got this like inside joke. It's not really an inside joke. It's more like a meme. It's like the guy with the glasses and the snow ski just like going over this hill and bailing, but he's like, "Are you going to Philly? I'm still gonna send it." But like that's what we kind of do. That's what we say to each other whenever we're trying to do something. And it's like, you know what? Still gonna send it. We're still gonna do it.
Exactly.
So like bars like quiet as hell. It's like owls chirping, and I'm like, "But William, you're still gonna send it." And you're like, "Still gonna send it." And you know what? You went back in for round 2, and you done a killer set.
Yeah, man.
And then that was a messy night afterwards.
It was, yeah, and one of those ones. And then you got Jamie ever so often saying, "Ah, you fucking right," and I'm just like, thanks. But yeah, no, it's one of those things. I've never been, again, with my social anxiety and stuff like that, I've never been one to hide it. Well, maybe for a while, but I kind of embraced it after a while. And I'm not great at speaking to people, especially kind of on stage. But as I say, I kind of, you'll probably notice as well that I kind of embraced it and not like took the piss out of myself, but I tell people, I'm kind of just laugh about it in a way, just, I don't know how to describe it, just let people know, get in that zone where I'm comfortable and don't feel like, kind of get the audience, not on my side, but like,
Yeah, just
to get them to
like,
understand that I might be not nervous. I don't really get nervous, like not in a cocky way. It's something.
No, just be like, this is who I am, and
Yeah.
just kind of bear with me. You're gonna get
Yeah.
some songs soon.
And I'll just like rip the shit out of myself, and they love it. So yeah, maybe I should do that more often. But like,
All for that self-deprecating humor, you know. It's
yeah, that's it. They're like, I'm
Yeah.
like, help me.
I'm not really joking here. You know?
Exactly, man. But no,
Yeah.
it took me a while to find my identity. But yeah, I've never been one to try and be anyone other than myself, you know. And I mean, sometimes I just not speak on stage, and I thought, oh no, I need to say something, and I found something that worked for me, and even if it's telling like a short story behind a song, or just, as I say, just speaking absolute shit half the time, to be honest, man. But people seem to enjoy it, so yeah, I'll just keep speaking shit, I guess. That's the moral of the story.
Always speak shit. I mean, I think that's the thing as well. You know, it does take a lot, even if it's like, you know, a crowd of 20 people, especially like the Druthy. It's such like an intimate venue.
Yeah.
I've not really done much sitting down gigs. Everyone's normally been standing up, and then you've normally got a band backing you. But when you're a singer-songwriter and it's just you, a guitar, and an audience, you know, it's a lot to kind of process. And like, you know, you're just focusing purely on getting your songs across, let alone tuning in between and try to like amuse the audience in between. There's a lot to kind of take on board, and you know, you're saying yourself with social anxiety, you know, and pushing yourself to do that. I think that's an important thing as well. You know, it's pushing yourself, even though your body's kind of telling you no. Like, you know, it's like, you know, it's that bit inside you that's like, you know what, I need to try a bit harder. I need to,
Yeah.
you know, and I think that's a good healthy thing to do. You know, like you're happy talking to a certain degree, but not to a point where like you're trying to put on a show. It's like,
Yeah.
you're gonna get exactly who I am, because these songs represent exactly who I am.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what I think, man. Yeah, as I say, just I've always thought. My friend once said, "Oh, it'd be great if you once did a show where you played every song you'd kind of not every song I'd ever written, but at least the good ones from like my first early songs to now. Just it'd be a good story, man. You know what I mean? I think well, maybe one day I'll do that. And as I say, I've never, even when writing songs, I've never written a song that doesn't mean something to me, you know, and it's always been important to me as well. So, because you get too many songs these days that are on about fucking jumping on a fucking Mustang in the middle of the woods, and I'm like, yeah, you fucking right, you did.
Song, like, for some reason, everyone's trying to bring that nostalgia period back, where it's like early 2000s, 1999. And I mean, what, you had The Matrix, which is the only good thing about that era, pretty much. You know, and it's like you're going back to nostalgia to make people that are now our age be like, oh yeah, it's relatable. It's not relatable. You know, it's like, well, that's like a whole different world away. You know, you're just
like the my side would be like fucking jumping on my Toyota Yaris in fucking Station Park or something.
hot diggity damn. Just like you and your tailor, just like, hey, how's it going, bro?
Yeah, I mean, people just look at me like fucking. Oh, I don't even know.
Just like you cheated your guitar for 5 hours. Just like so. Anyway, here's Wonderwall.
Anyway, yeah. So Toyota Yaris is got a great windscreen. Might not be an Audi, but you know,
better for the environment than your fucking Mustang. Get the fuck out of here.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
Not just joking. I'm not like
anti-Mustang society.
No. Like, I mean, like, you know, just like not want to piss off any like Anne-Marie fans. Like, why do you not like Anne-Marie? I don't give a fuck. I just don't give a fuck. But no, like, that's that, man. You know. And so like when the EP first came out, you know, you had a little 2-day thing in Glasgow, in Jersey, and you were kind of telling me earlier about when you were in Jersey for radio. You were telling me some stuff before the podcast started, and there's some good crackers in there, man.
Yeah, it's a shambles, to be honest, mate.
Let's talk about it if you're comfortable talking about it, you know.
Yeah, no, like, so I went over to play in Jersey with my good friend Tyg Daly. He's definitely worth checking out as well. He's doing amazing things. He's on Spotify and everything. He's a great guy. But anyway, we hadn't spoken in years, and it's one of those things you see him doing really good, and we're like, oh, we should meet up, like, because we were friends like all through childhood. And he was doing a home show, and I was like, oh, I'd love to, you know, come over and play. And he's like, yeah, come over and play. So I went over, and because I flew from Glasgow to Jersey, I took Matthew, my good pal, and Jamie as well. Like, Jamie just tags along for the sesh, but like, he's like, yeah, fuck it, I'll come. And and then I Tyg's quite close to the people in Jersey. the BBC Radio Jersey and that, and they thought it'd be a good story for. He was talking about the gig and we're like promoting it, and he was saying his side of the story the week before I came, and they thought, oh, it'd be good to have me on, tell my side of the story and that. So yeah, we had that booked for Saturday morning, and we got there on Friday night, Thursday night? No, I don't know, it's Thursday or Friday night, I can't remember. And obviously I hadn't been there for a while, been home to Jersey and seen all my friends and that, and we just ended up getting like absolutely wankered. And,
Love it.
And I woke up on the Friday/Saturday morning, like still half cut, like my mate Ryan and Tara, his girlfriend, I was staying with, and Matthew and Jamie were at my other mate Liam's, and I just woke up and I was struggling. I can't deal with hangovers very well, and so my usual go-to was I went down to the Spa at the bottom of the shop and just like bought. I think my go-to hangover drink's like a Wicked, like nothing wrong with a Wicked, just saying, and like a few beers, and I was just like, get back on it, and just, you won't feel...
Get back on the session.
Yeah, you
That's
won't...
not a hangover cure, just getting fucked up.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. This is like 9 or 10 in the morning, because I can't...
See, that's the thing that's like Scotland sucks at, you can't buy alcohol after a certain...
That's the thing, I went down there, and they're like, the alcohol aisle was open, I was like, fuck me, I fucking miss this place. Anyway, so I got back on it.
Drink aware, everyone, drink aware.
It was quite a bit of a walk into town, and got to the radio station, and I was just sitting there. I was like, shit, I'm about to play live in like 20 minutes, half an hour. And then Matthew and Jamie and one of my best friends, Liam from Jersey, came along to support me and all that, emotional and mentally. And Jamie and Matt were pretty still fucked as well. And I remember them coming into the studio, and Jamie didn't realise it was live. I remember turning around at one point, and I just saw him shaking. I definitely knew he was like borderline ready to spew into a bin or something. And I was like, I really wish that had happened live on air.
Right.
But yeah, I know I had this really good chat about the gig and all that stuff with presented there, and played a song, and had people listening, and it was really good, man. I'm just disappointed though, because so like after that, I kind of, you get to a stage where you're like kind of flaking out a bit when you've been drinking, and I just kind of kept on it, man. And I was really buzzing for the gig, but I just kept drinking. I drank too much and didn't play as well as I could have, so I was like, oh fuck's sake, fucking... I remember one point my guitar was so out of tune, but like it was just, and I look back and I was like, fuck's sake, William, you're a fucking dick.
But it was a good time though.
It was a great time, yeah. And then
live and learn.
Yeah, and then I think we went out, I can't remember what day we went back to Glasgow. I remember like having a minor meltdown at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and text my mate and had to bring me some like fucking pills because I was having a meltdown. He was like, yeah, take these, you'll be fine. So I'm not mad into flying, but anyway, flew back to Glasgow on the Saturday or Sunday, and I was doing a gig as like one of the guy Mick I was on about was doing at I think it was Kitty O'Shea's Next to Central, in Glasgow. I remember just getting off the plane. After like a heavy weekend, you're just like, I just want to sleep, man, and just like I can't do this. But I was a headline act as well, so got off, went back to Matt's, got a train into town, and I remember being on the stage and just like shaking. I was just not nervous now. I just fucking wrecked. I just got back on it again because that's it. By this point, you're like, yeah, fuck it, may as well get back on it.
If I stop now, I'm gonna like shut down entirely.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and I played in Glasgow on the Sunday as a headline act, and it was a good weekend, man. It was, fucking shambles, but it was great. So hopefully I'll get back to Jersey sometime soon. But I'm trying to organise a thing. I'm going down to London in August with my girlfriend to go for a weekend, and Tig lives in like London, does like lots of gigs there.
So is this you announcing your first London gig potentially?
Hopefully, yeah. We're speaking about it, and we'd love to do something, so hopefully I'll be able to sort something with him and get something when I'm down there. It's be cool, man. Be cool. So hopefully stay posted about that, man, because I'd always love to play down there. So it'd be definitely a cool thing to say. But yeah, that was Jersey. A good weekend, a great weekend. So.
Yeah, I mean, what you were saying about the whole Jersey Glasgow weekend and getting drunk. I mean, like playing the show when you're like super drunk oh man, nothing. Well, there's nothing better. There's nothing worse. It's like a catch-22. On one hand, you feel fucking amazing, but on the other hand, you're like, fuck, am I gonna hit these notes? I remember like it was like a Christmas show in Hopeman that we played, just a local show, and brought our own like PA system and that as well. But we never got paid for the gig. It was just like, you know, like people were just buying drinks for us the whole night, and that was just part of that. So we're playing these shows, but like by the end of the set list, I think I was like 10 pints deep.
Yeah.
And this is when like I changed from bass over to guitar, and I had to do like 2 solos. Yeah. So I'm like, I think it was a song like this by my old band, Dissuade. The recordings are pretty terrible, but the music's okay. So like it was a song, Won't Arise, and it's this like very kind of bluesy solo. And I remember getting to this solo and being like, well, here we go. I'll see you on the other side.
Keep that in the blues scale.
And you know what? Still gonna send it.
Oh, fucking
I did. Apparently, well, I thought I did until like about a year later. My cousin was at the show and he's like, Cameron, you didn't really send it, but I thought I did. And you know, confidence up, playability down. So if you're playing a show, few pints, but don't get to the point of where you can't play that well anymore.
Yeah.
And that's a skill that is taking time to learn.
Still learning.
We're still learning.
No,
well, there was the gig you played back in April where like you had a sober one because you were driving afterwards. And to be fair, like was probably the best I've ever heard you play.
Yeah, but still gonna
send it regardless. Yeah. You know.
No, it's part of what I love about like gigging and that. I should be like, oh yeah, I love the music and that, which I do, of course. But it's just like the whole just having a few pints before your mates and that, and yeah. And as you said, I didn't know how well I played that night. When I said I wasn't drinking, that was the first time I hadn't drank for a long time. But it's more confidence for speaking to people as opposed to playing. Like I don't get nervous about playing. It's more speaking.
Yeah, the social interaction.
Yeah. As I say, like I've never really felt daunted by crowds or. Well, ironically enough, I get really bad anxiety when I'm in crowds and I'm not playing. Like Glasgow, I got that a lot. But if I am playing to crowds, I don't. I'm a fucking weirdo.
I mean, that's the thing as well. You're like, I noticed that myself with playing as well, because you get lost in playing. You know, you're like, you're not really focusing on the audience. You're focusing on like, right, I'm gonna play this because these are my songs, and I'm trying to remember everything at once. And you're that focused in what you've been practicing and what you've been learning that you kind of forget that the audience is there to a certain point until like you step out of that. Once you finish the song, you're like, oh crap, there's people here. And I've got
that's it. Yeah, I'll go and watch the act after me. I'll be like freaking out. Not freaking out again, because probably I'm pretty half cut by the time, but like, you know, a bit on edge. Like, and I'm like, yeah, but no, it's something I've never really worried about, I guess, which is good, but it's strange. I'm a strange person.
Because it's after the show where everyone's like, good set, man, good set, and I'm like it's good to hear that as well. It's you good there?
My headphones.
Yeah. I mean, it's good to hear that you've done a good job in that as well. But I think it's just like that. I don't know, maybe that social pressure. Like you've just played the set, and then like you've got that kind of thing where people are gonna keep coming to you for this night, which is good to a certain point. But at the same time, it's like you played your set, you're just wanting to kind of unwind, and you're happy to chat to some people. But if it's like
it's nice. It's always lovely to hear. Man, I had people coming up to me that I always have at least 1 or 2 people. Oh, it's a really good set. I enjoyed it. I've no clue who you are, but your music's really good and that. And it's always a nice thing to hear. I mean, it's always a lovely thing to hear from even people that have seen you perform your whole life, like my brother and that. And he'll be like a critic, like if he thinks I'm not like doing my best and that, which is what you need, like. But and your mates and that, they've seen you that many times, and like even like yourself, who's seen me like a decent amount of times now, know when I'm kind of like on it or not giving it enough. But like hearing it from people you haven't heard it from means a lot. But I'm not saying it means as much, because obviously your mates. And
I think it's having the group, that friendship group, that'll not lie to you, just gonna be like, right, you've played better sets, It's like you played this really well, but and you're like, yeah, cool, I noticed that. So like next time you're like, cool, I'm gonna improve on this. Because I think that's the thing as well. Like, people don't want to annoy their friends. They're like, it's like it takes a lot to kind of write these songs and to do this. And I think in a majority case scenario, when you send something that you've worked on over to somebody, maybe they feel a bit of pressure behind being like, oh, well, I know you spent all that time and it's all about this and I don't want to offend you. It's like, well, it's not really about offending it. It's like,
No.
if you're like, cool, I like the message behind it. I like what you're signifying here. And for like 90% or like 70% of the time, it sounds amazing. But like there's that 30% that you can do, that I know you can do because I've heard it come from you.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And just kind of try and, because at the end of the day, we all just want to get better. We all just want to.
Yeah, you'd rather someone be honest with you and tell you how it is than just be like, oh yeah, well, you're great. And like, even if I fucking fell off stage, fucking do all this shit. Obviously, I don't do that, but like, like, oh no, you're fine. It's great. Yeah, it's fine. No, I'd rather people actually constructive criticism. Never gets to piss me off. Like I'd never get pissed off with that. I'd be like, I appreciate it. I appreciate honesty. I always have that.
But I suppose what you don't want is like people being like, that was shite. I was like, well, why? Just shite. I'm like, well, no, like how could I get better? It's like, that was just shite. It's
yeah.
Like, well,
but fuck, not, yeah.
Well, fuck you.
I don't think I've ever been that bad that people have just been like, yeah, it's shite.
It's like, do you not get it? I mean, it's cool if you don't get it. It's William tearing into the Drygate Lager. Oh, by the way, I've not made a mention. So like last episode we had the Kolsch. This episode we are drinking Drygate, but before that we were drinking Tennent's because we're.
I don't know, just like cans.
Just like sync cans like bands, honestly.
I'm a man of
I think like Tennent's is like the panic response drink that you get in every bar. So like, especially in Scotland, you walk into a new bar for the first time and like you just see the tea, you're like, Tennent's. It's almost like a tick, and then you're halfway through your pint of Tennent's and you're like, oh, what, they had St. Mungo's there, or they had like this there, Don't get me wrong, Tennent's, I'll drink it till the day I die, but
it's when I went to Druthi quite a bit and they didn't sell Tennent's. I just hit the panic button and I was like, you look and there's not Tennent's. You're like, fucking hell, man. You're like, what's this shit? And like,
well, guess what? It's back now. So,
yeah, no, I know. Yeah, the last one I was like, oh, you don't have Tennent's. I was like, fucking Tennent's. And then, no, not to say like there's like so many more like interesting, great beers, but I'm just that staple, boring fuck that just, not saying Tennent's is boring, but you know what I mean. I'm just like a man of habit, I guess.
Aren't we all?
As long as it's wet. And I'd finish that sentence.
As long as it's wet, you're gonna finish that.
Yeah, it's that sentence. Okay.
So,
moving on.
We're now going to bring this on to the positive note because, like, we were talking about the first EP being, a tale about heartbreak, and you guys should listen to it. So that's, if you're going to search him up on his socials, it's at William Freeman Music, and on Spotify, just William Freeman.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you think so? Oh,
no, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, check it. The EP. It's a good one, and I don't know. 2019, a lot's been kind of going on. I think you've been writing some demos just now. I've been seeing that a lot on your socials.
Yeah. So I kind of after the last EP, which felt quite emotionally draining and all that shit. To write because it was one of those things like you kind of all your emotions and all that, and I was really enjoying gigging and all that, and. But I just felt like taking a step back, and as I say, all this stuff happened, and played this gig, met someone new. As I say, I'm like I'm happy, and like, and I was just writing happy songs again. I'm being in love, man. It's it's mental, like, because I never thought I'd have to write the EP about like kind of the last one about breaking up and like all that stuff, but I never thought I'd have to write this. Not have to write, but I never thought I'd be writing these months later all these happy songs about meeting someone new and just fucking being like really happy again. And I didn't force it. I never forced it. Like kind of I never be like fucking like got on Tinder and all that shit and all that fucking all that kind of shite. I kind of the way it kind of went was meeting someone in a real world situation and at one of my gigs through music as well and. That was and now I'm just writing Lots of happy songs, man, for a change.
So, or have you finished, or?
Yeah, I'm getting to a point now. I've got that many songs that I need to record. That I mean, the thing is, like after the Way You Want to Love Me EP, I was writing songs about. I don't know. Do you remember that one I sent you? I think it was piano based. And
Goodbye.
We couldn't.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like the end of that kind of scenario of my life, and saying, "Oh, this is cool. This has happened. It's fine. You know, I don't hate you and all that shit." But it's me moving on. And then by the time we kind of it was like kind of my fault. By the time I kind of finished like getting to that where I was happy with that song, we kind of moved on to what's the song called?
Is it Maybe I Am?
Maybe I Am, and that was me kind
Because
of
like you and I worked on that together for a bit.
Yeah.
'Cause, like, you know, at the same time I was skating at your boy, and like, you know, we were working on Goodbye, and I think we hit a bit of a wall with Goodbye, just because like you're like, a couple of weeks later, no, I'd say like a month later, you're like, well, I don't feel that way anymore.
yeah,
You know, it's like I don't really want to sing a song about this anymore because this song
it's done.
is done. You know, it's like I wrote it, but it's something that I don't want to really launch anymore. I want to start doing this positive change, and Maybe I Am was maybe the first song that was relating to that start of change. And
It was, yeah.
I still have like, you know, your demo that we worked on for the past like little while on here. All the whole program drums and bass and all that stuff, and I think we're trying to go full band, and I think we kind of got to that point as well where it's like we're working on it, and just I think stuff got in the way, and I think we could go to that point where like obviously you were working from a singer-songwriter perspective, and I think adding in all these full band influences as well, it kind of made you take in a lot and be like, right, well, where do I want to actually go with what I'm doing?
Yeah, and again, it was one of those things that you know, obviously it was good to spend time on it, and the Maybe I Am was kind of the transition period between kind of getting to a place where I was ready to like let myself back into the world, and you know, things like that. Even though nothing was actually happening, I was ready to move on if the opportunity came. You know what I mean? Like if I kind of met someone, and then by the time we got to that stage, I was like, shit, now I've met someone. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm like kind of, and I really like that song. I still play it live, and I love playing it live. It's like it's really upbeat in that, and I still include it in my set. But it's kind of it's crazy, man. Just the way how fast my life kind of moved and is moving. Like it doesn't scare me or anything, but I always kind of wanted to reflect what's happening at the time, which doesn't mean I can't release like, you know, that one day, but it's just I always felt like, oh, maybe, you know, I'll try and release what I'm going through at that period in my life. But there's nothing to say, like I'm sure there's bands, and I'm definitely sure there's bands that have written songs years ago and kind of put it on an album like a couple of years later. But you know what I mean? Like with myself, like the next single, I think I'm gonna stick to singles as opposed to EPs. Just the impact they seem to be having with a lot of kind of like indie artists and stuff like me. They just seem to be the way forward, and I just want the next one to be not even. I'm not trying to prove anything to anyone. Like I don't want to be like, oh.
Yeah, like you want to be the next Ben Howard, or you want to be the next
or
Isaac
like
Gracie, or
stuff. There's more like kind of I don't want to be like, oh, I'm you know, I'm trying to think the best way to say it is like, oh, I want everyone to think I'm so happy, you know, and all that shit. And I am happy. Of course I am happy, you know. I've never been this happy, but I just never wanted to feel like I was putting it on, you know what I mean? Like I didn't want people to think I was just trying to be like put this brave face on, because I'm generally kind of happy. So that's where I wanted to kind of be this next single, reflect where I was, where I am in my life now, and
just time stamping that. So like when you go back, and I suppose, you know, like with this new material that you're working on, you know, once this has been recorded and once it's out there, reflecting back on that, you know, and so like in times where you're kind of like, oh, I'm sad again, or what, you know, because like, you know, life is all a roller coaster. There's always ups and downs.
oh, definitely, man, yeah.
To look back on that and be like, well, you've been there and you've came back.
Yeah.
And I think at the time of where like you are in that low point, it's hard to kind of see that things are going to get better again. It's like when you got like a cold or like a blocked nose, and like there's nothing
You're
more.
trying to remember that time you didn't have a blocked nose.
Yeah, and it's
I'm trying to remember this time I didn't have a blocked ear, man. It's just like, remember when I could hear correctly?
It's like, and you give anything that you're back now, you're like, oh my god, what happened?
Yeah.
But
No, it's totally like that. Yeah.
I mean that's cool. Like, you know, it's like for yourself, it's like you see the music as more just, this is who I am, and I want to write songs that reflect me for who I am, and I want to play shows that are all about the intimate gigs, and you know, that's...
Yeah, it's more like I don't really write songs for other people. I'm not writing a song in mind with saying, oh, this person is in love, I'm going to write this song for all the people in love in the world.
Yeah.
I'll write a song that will be like, this is how I feel. It'd be cool to write a song about it, and if people can relate to it, then cool. And if not, I don't really give a shit, man. You know what I mean? But it's more just like, you know what I mean? Like, if some people like it, some people won't. But yeah, it's more just me writing songs about what's happening in my life, and yeah, if people can relate to it, cool, nice one. If they don't, then
fuck you.
Exactly, man. Yeah, that's exactly it, man. Just and then I'm sure there's always one person who'll enjoy them. So,
and that's it. It's writing music for that kind of self-expressive form. It's like, you know, it's, you're not really caring about who's on the other end. It's just like, it's more just like making these songs, writing these songs, and getting them out there for...
It's, you know what I think it is, like, I think that The Way You Want to Love Me, the whole EP, as I say, is very personal, and was very personal, and that could have quite easily been just me writing songs to her to say, oh, this is how I feel, I'm really sad, blah, blah, all that shit. But I decided to release it. And on the flip side, these new songs can be... I didn't write them with the thoughts in mind of releasing them to the world, but on the flip side, as I say, this is me writing songs essentially to her, saying, oh, I love you such and such amount, and I want all these stuff. But I can also release it if I want, and people can relate to them, you know what I mean? It's got those things, like, you kind of write them for a person. I think a lot of songs, like kind of Ben Howard and that, are quite personal about kind of like relationships and stuff, and everyone, like, you know, even probably that, like Lewis Capaldi and that Someone You Love is probably personal to a relationship.
Yeah.
And that could have been literally just to that one person, but, you know, to put it out there in the world. And
Well, what's his song? Is it Hold Me While You Wait?
yeah.
I think he was talking about that song, and apparently what he was saying about that song was just like, you know, like he was with this girl that he's been seeing for the past little while, and she was like, Lewis, I fucking hate you.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, what? He's like, I've just realized I don't fucking like you. I've been in this relationship for X amount of time. I don't fucking like. He's doing this interview where he's talking about this, and he's like, oh well, just like fucking cuddle in the meantime. You know? And yeah, that's the thing. Like, I think Lewis Capaldi's kind of sold something where it's the Glasgow, Paisley, whatever circuit for years. But it was like a few years ago on the Scottish Banter Facebook page, I remember seeing a video that got it got viral as fuck, and it's just like him singing in a bar with a pint. But like that went massive, and everyone was like, "Who's this guy?" And it was like, "Oh, it's Lewis Capaldi." Anyway, fast forward to now, where like he's selling out venues and
mental,
yeah. I mean, he was meant to play the Druthi last year, but like sore throat, had to cancel, and then 2 weeks later he was like, "Oh, cool, I'm back there and works again." You know, local venues do cool shit,
yeah.
And you know, like you and I have both played the Druthi, so it's Tom Walker. We've played the same Druthi. We've played the same venue it's the same Druthi. You know, like we've played the same gig venue as Tom Walker. So
that's it, man. Yeah,
you know,
support your local venues.
Support your local venues.
Support your local music
I mean, that's what I meant to ask as well. When you were playing these Glasgow gigs, is it like the Roxy 171 and all that stuff? Or are they all there?
The
like
Roxy, man.
And
I can't remember what that place looked like, man.
Ivory Blacks and the Bucks.
Yeah, good venues, man. All good venues.
Do you know if they're still there, or are they?
Oh, the Box is definitely still there. Roxy, I think I played that a few times. I think it was towards the West End. I think Ivory Blacks is next to Central. That was a cool venue. As I say, there's so many cool venues, man. Like, literally, you could walk down the street and find a cool venue. That's the great thing. There's venues and there's like pubs that do like gigs and
Yeah.
As I say, there's always something on, and I do miss that. But honestly, I can't remember half the nights I played in Glasgow. It's when you're kind of like, you know, uni and just go out and play a gig, get wanker. You don't have to worry about the next day. And I do miss that, man. It was good. Like, it was a good laugh and that. But yeah, I miss playing gigs like kind of 2-3 times a week. But you're kind of getting the same bill sometimes with some people that you just like.
Yeah. Well, I think that's us now getting to this point where we're getting full circle. Thank you very much for being on. And if you got any plugs that you want to give to yourself, obviously your Facebook page, which we've mentioned, which is at William Freeman Music. You can find him on Instagram, Facebook, and if you're searching for him on Spotify, William Freeman. Anything else you want to maybe add? And
I wish I did have something to. No, it's just literally just keep following the pages. I've been working on stuff for a while, and I don't really have any singles or gigs to announce at the moment. But there's things in the works that are brewing. So follow me on social media. Back soon, I guess. I'm not back. I never went away.
No, I just like back and forth. It's all good. Well, thanks everyone. This has been episode 2. As always, if you liked the episode, please get back to me, and if there's any criticisms that I can improve on for the next episode, that'd be amazing. Right. Well, William.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
And we'll